to introduce the session today about using Canvas quizzes to replicate paper-based tests that have been carried out within the School of Physics, Astronomy and Maths. Now you'll notice that there's 3 people in this presentation, but just one on the stage. So Chiaki is holding the fort for the team. Detlef is unfortunately not here. And Solani, who was going to present as well, has got laryngitis and can barely speak at all. So we're going to manage some questions that Solani might answer some through the power of a communicator. But Chiaki's going to present the work for us. Thank you, Chiaki.
Thank you. Thanks. So I'm Chiaki Kobayashi from PAM, School of Physics, Astronomy and Mathematics. As Helen mentioned, this project is led by Detlef Mueller, who is on a research travel, unfortunately. So that's why I take over this presentation. Solani Peramunagama, who is sitting in the very front, she helped us a lot on a technical side of Canvas. And then 3 of us communicate a lot to make this happen, and which I would like to present today. So how to replicate traditional paper-based multiple choice test with Canvas quiz function. So the outline is I briefly explain which module, what kind of module we are using for, and then paper-based inkless test, the previous one. And then how to transfer the test to Canvas format. And then I'll summarize the take-away message, and also we'll comment on some of the outlook for the future. So we have done this for 2 modules for MATLAB, the software, computer software MATLAB, for level 4 student. The first one is application computing. This is for a physics, astro, and math student, and then we have approximately 110 students. So class size is usually up to 30 students, so therefore we have 4 groups for the same course. The other is engineering application mathematics, and because this is for engineering, that we have 350 students. This is already a challenge. And then class size, we should set to up to 50 students because of the capacity limit of the PC lab. This means that we have 7 groups for this engineering module. Weekly, we have 2 hours PC lab sessions in semester B for both modules, and this introduces programming for mathematics and physics. Students solve problems, exercise problems using MATLAB every week, so they already know how to use MATLAB. So we would like to assess their skill of MATLAB, understanding of programming using a class test, the similar environment using MATLAB. Assignment is 2 tests in semester B for both modules. As I said earlier, it is a multiple choice test, which means students are given test sheets that contain questions and several possible answers. The time of each test depends on the year, but usually 40 to 50 minutes. This includes time to log in onto the computer and launch MATLAB software. Then students solve questions using MATLAB software on a computer, then find the solutions and write it down in a tick box on the test sheet. We're using a pen. And you can already see this is not great. So here is an example of our test script. I'm not sure you can see this clearly. Above, there is an instructions. How long does it take? What they can do, what they shouldn't do. These instructions are listed above. Then the questions are listed in this red box area. Just below each questions, we have multiple choices of the answer, A, B, C, D, E. Then student find which is the correct solutions and write it down on this right-hand side insert box. There are a few challenges for this previous paper-based system. The first one is the challenges in a classroom for students. First of all, students need to read instructions before test starts, but shouldn't read questions until the test starts. This is a challenge. For us, it takes time to hand out the test sheets at the beginning of test. Therefore, this causes unnecessary disruptions in a classroom. Some students start earlier, despite the instruction, than the other student. Some students also need to wait for login and launch MATLAB software. This takes time sometimes. In the worst case we had, some students have to wait 20 minutes just for login and launch computer. We also would like to be fair to those unlucky students. The students solve problems on a computer screen, but answer on a paper. This is I mentioned earlier. This is not straightforward for them. The challenges are how to make sure that each student has exactly the same test time. More complicated thing is what to do if students are late for test. We would like to let them start, but it's not easy. So some students that sit next to each other communicate. As you can imagine, various things can happen in a computer room. We try to watch when they are solving problems, but this is always a problem. During the preparation of this test script, there are also challenges to the lecturers. First of all, the multiple time slots for one test we have. As I mentioned, one module consists of several groups. So we have to run the same test multiple times. This means not all students start the test at the same time. So this is a challenge. Ideally, we would like to shuffle questions in each time slot. And even more ideal case, we would like to also shuffle answers of each questions so that the student doesn't tell each other the first question, the answer is A, and so on. We usually prepare the test sheets using Word or LaTeX. It is possible to insert equations, mathematical symbols, characters, but it is actually not that easy, time-consuming. It is also possible to include figures. We have done this, figures and plots, but again, that's not easy, and it was not possible to include other multimedia, such as movies. As I mentioned earlier, we would like to shuffle, but if we do this, shuffling test questions and answers is a good source of making mistakes. And also, it is difficult to keep track of different question sheets. Sometimes we mixed up for the questions and correct answer sheet. For future, how to use them in the following years without these questions repeat too much. That's also a challenge for us. However, Canvas-based inkless test significantly improves the situations both for students and lecturers, as it removes many of the problems that we experience with paper-based tests, as I mentioned earlier. Here is a screenshot of our Canvas-based test now. So when students log in, after the release of test, the first page they look is this one. So this is the instructions that can be provided well ahead of the test. We usually do this 1 week before the test. So students can read through these instructions, what they can do, what they shouldn't do, how long the test is. It's 40 minutes test. The answers will be shuffled. These details they can check taking their own time. These instructions provided in advance give students more confidence before the test. The questions they don't see at this stage because questions protected with password. So after, at the classroom, we tell student a password, and only after they type in the correct password, the question sheet will appear on the screen. So this is a very, very good system. The access to the test sheet, only for the time slot each student is allocated. So as I said, there are various groups. We allocate timetable, allocate the student to each group, and they can only see the test sheet at the allocated time. This access is controlled by changing the password for each time slot. What we have done is we set the password at the first class, gave them, and then during the test, we change the password for the next group. So the first group, even they have a mobile phone, the first group cannot tell the password to the other group. Latecomers can also start and end late. That's also an advantage. As long as the test room is booked, they can stay and solve problems. This ensured that each student has exactly the same test time. We can also monitor this time. If we click the list of students, how many they have spent, how many minutes they have spent, that's also listed. So that more example of Canvas, the test sheet. Not sure you can see this clearly, but this includes quite a few mathematics equations and symbols. First of all, we don't have to worry about this format anymore. So all we have to do is prepare the programs and then type in the system. The Canvas has the format already, so we don't have to worry about this. Once we typed in questions, they are automatically shuffled. Answers also automatically shuffled. So this will help reducing students' misconduct. And these mathematics equations and symbols can be typed with LaTeX command on the Canvas. This is a very clever idea. So on the Word, what we have done in the past is choose the alpha or some integral symbol from the panel one by one. We don't do this anymore. As a researcher, we daily use LaTeX. So this is incredibly easier for us. Just type out LaTeX command and then copy the LaTeX command onto the window. And then screen shows the mathematics equation. Figures, plots, we have also done this. This program, students solve programs and then choose the correct figures from these 4 choices. And these figures also can be presented very easily with various formats, JPEG, PNG, and PDF various formats. In addition, we can also use movies, sounds, and any kinds of multimedia. This is already possible. This allows for more options in the class test. Also, during the test, lecture notes can be unpublished easily. This is just one click on the Canvas system. So students are doing this test. We don't want them to see the lecture note. That depends on the module, but we don't allow them to see the lecture note, so we stop this by unpublishing the lecture notes. Okay, this is already sounds great, I think, but the final thing is even better. So first of all, we can see the statistics very clearly. So this graph shows a histogram of the overall mark of this one test. So we can see the performance very clearly. In addition, we can also see the more detailed information about each question, including which student selected which answer choice. So for this student, for these questions, many students make this wrong answer, like 36% of students answered wrongly. These statistics we can see. This will allow us to improve teaching material and assignment. This was the first year for us to use Canvas this year, so we have not done this yet, but this will certainly the good future for the improvement. So I'm gonna skip. So all the programs I mentioned, challenges, are crossed out now, both for the in-class classroom for students and also for the preparation for lecturers. Just to summarize the key point, Canvas allows us to prepare very easily. It's very easy to shuffle questions as well as answered. This will avoid errors for us to make during the preparation, and also for students to make any misconduct in a classroom. It's also very easy to insert equations using the LaTeX function on Canvas. Also very easy to insert figures, movies, and other multimedia from other softwares. We can provide better classroom control so students can be more confident and more comfortable for the test. Instructions can be provided early, and this will remove a lot of disruption at the beginning of the test. Password ensures the protection of test questions. This ensures that each student, even latecomers, has exactly the same test time. The Canvas system also allows us to provide rapid and more feedback. So marking is, as you can imagine, all automatic. Of course, this will have less errors during the marking system. And if we make some errors when they are setting problems answers, we can correct them very easily. Remarking can be also done automatically. These test results can be shown to students, and they can see their performance compared to cohort. And the student information is anonymous. Okay, for the future, by continuing this Canvas test, we will be able to develop a data bank of these test questions. So in future, students can do mock tests from the previous problems. Also, for us, it will be possible to make different questions for one test to avoid more misconduct. The second point is already became possible that in addition to password, IP address can also control the access. And finally, using the statistic of questions and incorrect solutions, we can improve teaching material and assignment. That's all. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Silani is also going to stand up, but she might whisper some answers in my ear so I can communicate, because she really has no voice. Let's start with Rogerio. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I've got an idea, and the other is a question. So as you were presenting, I was thinking about these new recruitment processes that big companies or corporations have, where people are asked to do psychometric tests online, and really resembles that. So my idea, or let's say statement, I wonder if it would be interesting, rather than having a time allocated for the students to do the test, give them, let's say, from Monday to a Friday, like an open time, where individually they can access it. We give a time slot, let's say you have 20 minutes to do the test, you do it, and immediately you have the result. But then I thought about it, and maybe someone also can do the test for them in this case, because it's not controlling the environment. So my question then comes, is it possible, as you set up the quiz, is it possible to also set the model solutions, so as students finish the test, Canvas immediately rates or grades the quiz?
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yeah?
Yep.
That was all my questions.
Yep.
It's possible to set the answers as well as feedback for each different answers. They selected even the distractors.
So, yes, did you hear that? So you can set, so they see the answers, but also you can set specific feedback comments as well.
For each.
So if they get it wrong, they get a feedback for the distractor, why they got it wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Peter?
One of the problems with the quiz that I used on StudyNet, the older version of the quiz, was that I could reuse the same quiz in the following year, and it would be available to students, and they could complete the quiz, but I couldn't see any of the results because of the way it rolled over from one session to the next. Have you actually tried reusing the same quiz to see if that problem occurs?
So can't reuse the quiz.
Yeah.
yeah, you can reuse the quiz, that problem does not occur, it just releases it in the right way. Last question. I'm going to go up there. Thank you.
How do you prevent the students from accessing other websites to look up information during the test?
Yeah, technically not yet done. So still that is a problem. What we are doing is just walk around the classroom and check what they are doing.
So this is still held in the classroom, they're just on the machines in the classroom, so you can monitor the screens. But there's a project within Learning and Teaching Innovation Centre that's looking at online invigilation, online proctoring in that sense.
There's also a lockdown browser that you can use to stop students from accessing anything else, but we haven't piloted it yet. But it's a technology.
Perfect. So there's a lockdown solution as well within Canvas, so you can lock down. Oh, there's a lockdown solution not within Canvas, but there's a lockdown solution, but we haven't yet piloted yet, but that's the next piece of work within the Learning Teaching Innovation Centre. Okay, thank you very much everybody. If you'd like to move to the next session with thanks to Lani and Shep.